Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's your host, DJ Hamilton of the DJ Sports Show here on WRCR 1700 AM radio on this beautiful fall day here in Garnerville, New York, on this beautiful Saturday. And my main man, Will, across from me, and what is a surprise, he's here earlier than expected. How you doing, Will?
I'm doing all right. And yourself, DJ?
Doing great, man. I didn't expect you back until the 16th, but hey.
I know, yeah, a little earlier, change in the schedule, but we're here, we're doing it. I won't be here next week, but neither will you, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, before we start, Will, I just want to say, how's the acting been going? You've been killing it, I've been seeing.
Oh, thank you, DJ. I appreciate that. It's been going great. I've been working with the Acme Mystery Company, the Hudson Valley branch specifically. We've been doing murder mystery shows all over the Hudson Valley, so keep a lookout for that. They got a Facebook and an Instagram page for the Acme Mystery Company. It's a great time. It's a great show. Great time. People can participate in the shows, guess the murderer. Who's going to get murdered is a big question. It's a lot of fun. I've been playing to some great crowds. Lots of people loving it. It is a murder mystery for the most part. We got a Christmas show coming up. We're playing a few shows, and it's the only show we perform that is not a murder. It is a mystery. Hence why Acme Mystery Company and not Murder Mystery Company, so that we kind of leave that caveat there. Even though 99.9% of the shows are murder mysteries, there may be one that's not. So there you go.
Yeah, I love that for you, man. I'm loving that you get to do what you enjoy doing. You're getting paid for it, too. So.
It's a lot of fun. Yes, it is a paid gig, which is nice.
That's why Will's been out a little bit, ladies and gentlemen. But
yeah.
I'm glad to have him back here.
Glad to be back.
On this episode today, we're going to talk some World Series a little bit. A little bit of a light show today, but I'm going to talk some World Series. I want to reflect on my experience with Nyack Varsity Football. I was the first silent reporter in the school's history. The football season just concluded. And I got to be at Big East Media Day recently, where I got to talk to some of the top D1 coaches and players in the country, such as Paige Beckers, projected to be number one pick in the WNBA draft, Rick Pitino, St. John's men's basketball head coach, Hall of Fame head coach, and also Gino Auriemma for UConn's women's basketball. We're going to get into that near the end of the show. And maybe, if we have time, talk a little NBA. Maybe. I have a few takeaways so far the early part of the NBA season, but without further ado, let's get into it. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is baseball. Recently on Wednesday, sadly, New York lost 7-6 in Game 5 to win their 8th World Series title in franchise history and the second in 5 years for the organization. Freddie Freeman was World Series MVP. He set a record with 6 consecutive games with a homer. He had a home run in 4 consecutive games, the first 4 games of this series, and then 2 games dating back to his time with Atlanta Braves when he won the World Series in 2021. He was astounding. He had a batting average of 300, an OPS of 364, and a slugging percentage of 1,000. He tied a World Series record with 12 RBIs, the most since 1960 when Bobby Richardson did it. He's the 12th player to win MVP and World Series MVP in MLB history. And if there was any doubt if he was a Hall of Famer, I don't think there's any doubt anymore. So I just want to say that. And the Dodgers, they showed the resilience, their unflappability in Game 5. They were down 5-0 in that 5th inning. And we're going to get into the Yankees a little bit soon, but that 5th inning might have been the worst inning in baseball history by the Yankees. They had so many unearned errors and stuff like that. But the Dodgers, they weren't complacent. Even though they had a 3-1 lead in the series, they weren't complacent. They showed the resiliency. They showed the composure under pressure, being down 5-0. And they said, okay, if we get one run in, we can get this game going and potentially steal this game here at Yankee Stadium and not have to go back home and with the pressure back on us in Game 6 if they were to lose Game 5. But they were able to come up big. They're big-time players. Mookie Betts, Freddie Freeman came up big when they needed them to throughout the series. I know Shohei Ohtani was playing with an injured shoulder, so he wasn't really fully himself, but he had an incredible regular season. He now is a World Series champion, and this was his first postseason run. So, I feel like he was dealing with the emotion a little bit, Shohei Ohtani, where he kind of struggled with his at-bats. He was better when players were on base instead of when there was no players on base. He was more efficient, but hey, they came up big when they needed to, and that's one thing I saw. And in Game 1, there were some miscues by the Yankees. Game 1 is when it all started. Yankees were up 3-2. It's 10th inning, extra time, and I don't know what Aaron Boone's thinking for the Yankees GM. You put Nestor Cortez, who hadn't pitched in over a month, to go pitch in extra time. You guys need one more out to win Game 1 and have a 1-0 lead in the series. Yeah, LA Dodger Stadium, you intentionally walk Mookie Betts. And Mookie Betts is a great player. He's a surefire Hall of Famer, too. He's now a 3-time World Series champion. But I'm not favoring him as a home run hitter or anything of that nature compared to Freddie Freeman. So you intentionally walk Mookie Betts. You have a 1-2 ball strike count. and Freddie Freeman comes up. You need one more out to take a 1-0 series lead, and you put this guy in who hasn't pitched in over a month. That's like, and you put it on the World Series stage when there's big magnitude. This is a World Series stage. It's a big stage. Everybody's watching, and it's a lot of pressure. And someone who hasn't pitched in over a month, he's going to be rusty. That's like saying, oh, throw Will in the acting booth, but he hasn't been acting in like 3 years. He hasn't done any practice, right, Will?
I think I'm pretty skilled. I could do a serviceable job, maybe.
Oh, really?
I don't want to downplay my skill a little.
So say you were like on Broadway, you hadn't been like getting the reps to like continue to improve.
Yeah, without any rehearsal, you
Yeah.
know, it's going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride there.
Yeah, that's what happened with the Yankees. Like Aaron Boone is putting this guy Cortez hasn't pitched in over a month on this big stage and this big of a moment. You guys have a chance to close game 1. You're up 3-2, and then Freddie Freeman, he had one more out. He had one more strike, or he was going to be out, and he came up clutch with the first walk-off grand slam in World Series history. And here are sounds from that Game 1 walk-off grand slam that set the tone for this World Series for the Dodgers and propelled them to win the World Series.
Reality for Freddie Freeman right here. Taylor the tying run. Edman the winning run. Cortez delivers. Freeman hits the ball to right field. She is gone! Gibby, meet Freddie. Game 1 of the World Series.
So yes, that was sounds of Game 1 of the first Grand Slam walk-off in World Series history by Freddie Freeman, who's the World Series MVP. And that moment was electrifying. You could hear the crowd ruckus. It was infectious, the energy in LA. And that set the tempo for what will happen throughout the rest of the series. I think that Grand Slam walk-off set the tone, and it got in the psyche of the Yankees because I feel like they never really fully recovered after that Grand Slam walk-off because Game 1 was right there in the palm of their hands, and they just weren't able to close it out. And also that carried into Game 2 and Game 3. Yankees only scored 4 runs in 18 innings. Against this Dodgers team that has great defense, they don't make a lot of mistakes, and they have 3 former MVPs on their team. Freddie Freeman, Ohtani, Mookie Betts, guys who are also great leaders, and they have good role players in Kiki Hernandez, Tommy Edman, Teoscar Hernandez. Like, this team is really well-rounded. Their pitching, we had questions about their pitching coming to the series, but these guys, Walker Buehler came up big. Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he did a pretty good job, and it was just amazing to see. Coming into the series, I kind of switched back and forth, the Yankees and Dodgers. I like the Yankees like big 3, Juan Soto, Aaron Judge, Juan Carlos Stanton. But after that, it's kind of a little bit of a drop off. And same thing with the Dodgers, like they have a powerhouse big 3 in Ohtani, Freeman, and Betts. But their role players, I feel like, stepped up bigger when the moment called for it. And it really showed. In Game 2 and 3, the Yankees won both games 4-2. And the Dodgers won both games. And the Yankees, they had 5 consecutive innings, especially in that second game with no runs. You can't go 5 consecutive innings against this Dodgers team that's a high-powered hitting team and not score any runs because this team is not going to make a lot of errors, like I said before. And you got to be able to capitalize and be able to create some offense. You got to be able to find some gaps in their defense. So that's something they failed to do. Game 4, the Yankees showed some life. They showed some glimmer of hope. Aaron Judge, who had been struggling mightily throughout this whole postseason. We're gonna get into him soon, but he batted an RBI in Game 3, and then Game 4, he finally seemed to get out of his slump that he was in a major slump. This guy, he's gonna be a favorite to an AL MVP. This guy hit his first home run in the World Series in Game 4. Anthony Volpe, he came up big with a 3-run homer in Game 4 to propel the Yankees to give them that lead. Aaron Judge, he also gave them a great homer. Juan Soto did his thing. Juan Carlo also had a home run as well. And the Yankees finally had some life in Game 4. They've won that game at Yankee Stadium 11-4. And it was like, okay, maybe take a game by game. They're down 3-1. We could try to propel off this. And I feel like the Dodgers left the foot off the gas a little bit in Game 4. But hey, the Yankees, I know the fans were like, okay, if we could take a game by game, we could probably win this World Series. And then Game 5 comes. The Yankees, they start off strong, take a 5-0 lead. Aaron Judge, he hits another big hit. He has a home run in that game. And then you also have other guys stepping up. Juan Carlos Stanton, Juan Soto doing his thing. And then the 5th inning comes. And the era started dropping like flies. It first started with a easy fly ball that comes out to center field. Aaron Judge drops it. And that led to a disaster from there on out. He throws the ball to Anthony Volpe at third, who bounces it to third. They don't get the guy out at third. And there was an easier out at second, so that wasn't a smart fielder's choice right there. So that's 2 errors right there for the Yankees. And then eventually that leads to Garrett Cole and Anthony Rizzo. I don't know, miscommunication right there. That stuff. Not getting there's no first baseman at base to get Mookie Betts out. The pitcher doesn't run to the base to get him out. And that's a simple baseball 1-on-1 that you do in spring training. Even little leaguers, I see here at Haverstraw Park, when I'm playing basketball sometimes or at the park exercising in baseball, they even have those little basic fundamentals down. That was a big miscue and error by the Yankees. And I know Boone was scratching his head after that. I don't know. And they were unraveling in front of our very eyes. And it was something like I couldn't believe what I was watching. And yeah, Garrett Cole, Yankees. Garrett Cole was doing good up until that point. And I don't really blame him, but Judge, he even took blame for that starting off. And here's Aaron Judge on what he had to say after the Yankees lost in Game 5.
It's tough to say because I haven't really sat back and looked on the whole year. But I can go back. There's a couple games in the postseason where it was a base running mistake, or like I said, you give a team like the Dodgers 3 extra outs, they're going to capitalize on it. So, but it comes back to me. I'm getting that first play. I got to make the play, and probably the other 2 don't happen.
Aaron, are you worried that this is?
Yeah, so that's Judge, who's known as the captain of the Yankees after the World Series Game 5 loss. And you could tell, I was watching it, I know he was hurt by that. He said he's going to remember that for a very long time. And that's just heartbreaking to lose 5-0. You're up 5-0 in a lead like that in baseball. Baseball is kind of hard to come back because it's not like basketball where you get the ball right back. The action's constant, and just like hockey, same thing. So to lose that lead, I know they're going to have nightmares about that. They're going to watch the film. Hopefully they sign Juan Soto back, who is going to be one of the most prized free agents of all time, especially considering his age, his talent, what he's achieved. He has a World Series championship with the Washington Nationals back in 2019, and he was hoping to do that here in New York. And I know there's going to be a lot of teams vying for his services, such as the New York Mets. The Yankees going to have a chance to try to sign him back. There's also Dodgers are in that mix. You have this is another team, but I forgot off the top of my head. But there's going to be a lot of teams vying for Juan Soto's services. Here's Juan Soto on after the World Series Game 5 loss and his potential future with the Yankees.
Allow yourself to think at all, is this your last time in pinstripes? Do you think about that at all?
Yeah, you never know, man. At the end of the day, we will see where we are. Definitely tough game to be my last one, but really happy with what we accomplished as a team and how far we got. Definitely, we want to get we wanted to be the last team standing, but things happen.
Are you hoping to be back? If the money's right, are you hoping to come back?
I mean, we gotta sit down and look at it whenever we have a chance with my agent and everything, and we will see what it's gonna do.
What emotions come to mind now that you are going into free agency?
It's gonna be exciting. It's gonna be a good experience. I think every player in the big leagues wanna experience how it's gonna be the free agency. So. Exciting to see how it's going to be.
There's a perception that you would rather stay in New York than go elsewhere. Is that perception correct?
I don't think so. I mean, I'm really happy with the city, with the team, how these guys do. But at the end of the day, we will see. We're going to look at every situation, every offer that we get, and take the decision from there.
Yeah, so that's Juan Soto on his potential future in free agency. And that doesn't sound like a guy who is going to for sure come back to the Yankees. Ain't that right, Will?
No, sir. That guy's I think he's, it sounds like there's a lot of rumblings in whether or not he's going to stay or that he would like to stay. But I think, for negotiating purposes, you don't necessarily want to tell the other party that controls that you'd like to prefer that because then they're more incentivized to give you a smaller offer.
Yeah. So he has leverage right now.
Yeah.
Especially because of giving his youth. He's only like 25, 26 years old. Yeah. So he's around our age.
A lot of smart answers from him to try and keep it, keep the ball still in his court, if you will.
Yeah.
I know, wrong sports analogy, but I don't know a baseball one that you could. He doesn't want to strike out. Ba-doom-cha.
Hey, great point right there, Will. That was a great one.
Thanks. I try.
Great sense of humor. But yeah, Juan Soto, he's young. He has a lot of accolades. He's very talented. It's a guy who's durable. He shows up in the big moments. And he's the reason why him and Juan Carlos Stanton are the reason why the Yankees even got to the World Series in the first place, because they had incredible postseason runs. Juan Soto, he also, I know like every team's going to be vying for him, but there's rumblings that he could get even a possibly contract, $700 million, such as Shohei Ohtani. But I don't know if that's going to happen because he's not the all-around player that Shohei is. And he's not going to defer money either, so this is not going to be money they're going to put off to a later time. He doesn't want to defer money. He wants all the money guaranteed, and he wants to get it at the time he signed the contract each year. He doesn't want to defer money to later years down the road, like Ohtani did, which kind of helped the Dodgers. And then the Dodgers, they proved a lot of people wrong. A high payroll team, over $1 billion between like 3-4 players alone, and like Yamamoto, Ohtani, and so forth. And they were able to, it paid off. That high payroll paid off. Hopefully they can win more World Series title. I know they're not satisfied with one. But yeah, going back to Soto, I know he's going to be looking for, I think the low ball for him, the lowest he's going to go for is $600 million. That's the rumblings I'm hearing. But yeah, me personally, I think he's a great player. He should try to get all the money he can get. But I don't know if a team's going to give him $700 million because that's going to put them high in the tax. And that's going to make it hard for them to build around the roster. In baseball, you could do that a little bit because you don't have as much of you don't have a salary cap like you do in basketball and football. Those sports are kind of harder to have so much talent on one team. But yeah, that's one thing I took. So yeah, the Dodgers, they came up big. Yankees were the first team to blow a 5-0 lead in a World Series clinching game, which is kind of sad and on the wrong end of history. Mookie Betts had that RBI single. Then Freddie Freeman had a 2-run drive that got them 5-3, and then it just went downhill from there. So yeah, so Dodgers are the World Series champions, ladies and gentlemen. I know New York. I was looking forward to New York continuing their momentum, especially after the New York Liberty of the WNBA won their first title in franchise history recently, and they had the parade. So I was looking forward to the Yankees kind of continuing the momentum, because New York is up right now. And it just went bad. So that's one thing I took away. But hey, we at least still have the Knicks, who are playing pretty solid right now. Hopefully the Rangers, they're playing good right now. They could kind of step it up, because I thought the Rangers would make the Stanley Cup. So yeah, I'm just a New Yorker right now, just I want to see New York do well. So, but yeah, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a quick break. Coming back from the break, I'm gonna reflect a little bit on my Big East Media Day experience and my time being the first-time reporter in Nyack High School history for the Nyack Varsity Football team. Listen to DJ Sports here on WRCR Radio here in Gardenville, New York, and we'll be right back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it's your host DJ Hamilton of DJ Sports, and we are back here on WRCR Radio here in Gardenville, New York. And now, really, I just want to reflect a little bit on my time recently being a silent reporter for Nyack High School for the Nyack Varsity Football team, and then Big East Media Day, where I had the honor to be approved credentials recently to be asking questions to some of the top D1 coaches and players in the country, such as Rick Pitino, Gino Auriemma, and Paige Beckers. So first, I get into the silent reporting. So earlier this year, I got shout out to my guy Tyrell Walker, who got promoted recently to be varsity head coach next year for Nyack Varsity Football. He was a JV head coach this year for the boys football team, and he helped connect me with the AD, and we got to he approved me to be the silent reporter for the team, and it was a great experience, man. Giving these kids from Rockland, Rockland doesn't get a lot of exposure when it comes to certain things, especially sports. And just to give them a chance to, get ask questions. I gave them their first media day before the season. It was Anthony DeMarsico's first season as the head coach of the team. They didn't have the season they wanted, but that's what greatness takes. It takes growing pains. You got to learn from it, the mistakes. And I think they're going to continue to get better, especially with him at the head coach. He's a great guy. And getting to know some of the players, how what gets them clicking, stuff like that. And get to know them as people. And it means a lot. I'm from Rockland. I was born in Nyack. Even though I consider myself a Haverstraw kid, I've been here for a decade now. How long have you been here, Will?
I've been working here. I don't live here, but I've been working in the county for a little over 3 years now.
Okay.
Probably close to 3.5. I started in August of 2021.
Oh,
and
wow.
I've been learning about this beautiful little county in New York. I think it's the smallest county, if I'm not mistaken, in New York. So it's a lovely place. I really enjoy it.
Yeah.
Lovely community.
Yeah, small county. It's one of the safest too. You don't really hear of a lot of crime around here, Yeah, and just seeing the kids. I know when they lost games, they were crying. They really are passionate about the game of football. So that's one thing I really took. And then it gave me reps to like working on my sideline reporting skills, seeing what I'm good at, what I still need to work on. And it was just a great experience. And I've formed a lot of relationship with the coaches. Next year, I want to probably do Nyack Varsity Football and maybe do North Rockland, maybe do 2 other schools as well. Yeah, one of the coaches, Kevin, shout out to him. He said next year you should try to do like more schools around Rockland, just continue to grow yourself and get your name out there even more. He said, thank you for everything you did this season. Because they never had a sideline reporter before in the school's history, even the years they won the state title in 2000 and 2003, so that kind of shocked me. So yeah, that's one thing I really took away. And then, yeah, I would dress up to the games. I would wear my little polo or button-up bow tie. You should see the videos, Will. I'm just like, oh, look at me.
I did see the video. Yeah, you dressed up in a tux. You are dressed up fancier than literally anyone at this event. Kudos to you.
You're probably talking about the Big East Media Day.
Oh, yeah, that's what you look like, at least here.
Yeah.
You know? I like you look good in a tux, you know.
Thank you, man. Yeah, you have to go, fresh, ready. Gonna be in front of big-time people, so, you got to look the part.
Make your mark. Look the part.
Oh, yeah.
Love it.
And then recently, Big East Media Day, I got approved credentials to be at Madison Square Garden to ask questions to some of the top D1 coaches and players in the country, from Hall of Fame head coaches such as Rick Pitino of St. John's men's basketball team, Gino Ariema of the UConn women's basketball team, and Paige Beckers as well of the WNBA, who's expected to be number 1 pick in next year's WNBA draft. She's the reigning Big East Player of the Year. She was number 1 in the 2020 class at high school. That class had Caitlin Clark, Angel Reese, Cameron Brink, all players who are now in the WNBA who are doing their thing in the WNBA, making noise. That was a great draft class this past year in 2024. And Paige Beckers has a chance to really make her mark in her last season at UConn. And here's what she had to say when I got to ask her what a national championship would mean to her, and also what basketball means to her as well.
Paige, you mentioned your decision to forego the WNBA draft last year because you wanted to give it one last shot to win a national title. How much would it mean to you to capitalize on your collegiate career with a national championship, considering all the adversity you've been through throughout your career?
I don't even think I could put into words what it would mean, but it would mean everything. Obviously, everything that I've been through, me coming back, a lot of my teammates coming back from injury, and all the adversity, all the hardships, would definitely mean everything to cap it off with what we came here for.
Paige, name your all-time basketball starting 5 and why, and what life lessons has basketball taught you?
Women's starting 5? Yeah. All-time starting 5. All right, Sue, Diana, Maya, Stewie, and Asia. And what was the second part?
What life lessons has basketball taught you?
To take nothing for granted, appreciate every single day. Bad stuff is only bad if you interpret it as bad, but how can you turn anything that is sent to break you to make you? And to, instead of asking why me, say why not me. You don't have to do anything in life. You get to do everything in life. Everything in life is a blessing. And just take nothing for granted and just have fun, embrace life, be in the present. Don't worry about the future and don't worry about the past, but stay where your feet are.
Thank you, Paige.
Watch why Japanese.
Yeah, that was Paige Beckers, who's projected to be number 1 pick in the WNBA draft, as she looks to try to get a national championship for UConn this season. And one thing I love about Paige is her composure. I know you don't watch basketball, Bill, but one thing about her, she has great composure. Even though she has a lot of media attention, she has all these NIL deals, but she doesn't let it get to her. She's still hungry. She wants to be great. She's always working on her game. And this is someone who had a lot of hype coming into college. She dealt with a lot of adversity, injuries, kind of riddled her career throughout her college career. Last year, they made the Final Four. They lost to Caitlin Clark and the Iowa Hawkeyes. They're looking to amend that this season with a championship. It's her last year of eligibility. And one thing that stood out to me, what she said is, stay in the present. Don't worry about the past, don't worry about the future, but the present is a gift. And she said, don't say, why not me, or stuff like that. So why is this happening to me, but why not me? Something like that really stood out to me, especially for someone so young as her. And I think she has a bright future ahead. I hope she stays healthy. And, yeah, she's going to be – I expect them to win a national championship this year for the women's basketball team. But, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it here on the DJ Sports Show. Coming up next is Tough Times with Lou Young, the latest on climate change. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll see you guys next time here on WRCR Radio, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your Saturday.